I overheard my wife and her partner saying that I was pathetic and useless, so I kicked him out. Now, my wife is begging me to take her back and fix our marriage. Been ENM, ethical non-monogamy, with my wife for over a decade. We've had our ups and downs, but generally, it's been great. We have our rules, the most fundamental one being that even in the context of ENM, we would always operate on a bedrock foundation of mutual respect for each other and each other's partners. We never got hung up on the not in our bed nonsense. If my wife has a date, I'd rather she be in her own space where she feels safe and in control, and where she knows I have access in case anything goes wrong. We both take partners back to our home regularly. We have no kids, so there's no problem there. We had agreed that if one of us gets home and the other is there with a partner, then we don't disturb the date and just wait until it's over. We've also always gotten off on listening in on each other when this happens, which anyone we bring back home is made fully aware of. Usually we all have a drink together afterwards. I got to my house and she was there with her longest term partner, who has been in our lives for about 6 years at this point. They didn't know I was in the house and I started listening from the landing. They were talking about me in an incredibly humiliating way. He would give her prompts, asking her questions about how pathetic and useless I am, and she would agree, about how I can't F and I'm a poop husband, and she would agree and pile on with name-calling and degrading comments about me. For you, I know it's part of a power/humiliation dynamic, but I don't care. I was effing furious. It's not an ego thing. I know I'm a good attentive husband, and if I can allow myself a moment of conceit, I'm a pretty damn good lay as well. I would not ever tolerate any partner of mine saying a bad word about my wife, and I would die before I participate in anything that humiliates her, even if she's not there. At no point in our ENM journey did I consent to become the object of my wife's derision and disrespect when she's on a date, especially with her closest and longest running partner. I walked into the bedroom, big no, and told him to get the F out. My wife was livid and said no, he's not going anywhere, but I put my foot down and kicked him out of the house. We had a massive fight. She told me I was being a huge pussy. I told her she doesn't respect me, and some harsh words were said from both sides. That was Tuesday night and we haven't really spoken since. I certainly won't be the first to make contact, and she's been staying at his place all week, which is a may-I-or violation of our ground rules, but I also broke them by kicking him out. For 13 years I've worshipped the ground she walks on, and I refuse to accept the way they talk about me, even in the heat of the moment. It's not right and I won't stand for it. It's really put the future of our marriage into question, because I won't move forward with him still in the picture, and that will cause a volcanic amount of friction. She really likes him and has known him for almost half the time she's known me. It would severely disrupt our system and I know she would resent me for it, but I also know I will resent her if he stays. I feel steadfast in this, but I'd appreciate a sanity check before I make any drastic moves. Part 2. My wife came home last night and we had a very long and incredibly difficult conversation. She texted me yesterday and asked if it was okay with me if she came home after work. I said it's her home too and that I'd been waiting for her for 3 days. There's no way I could go through everything that was said, so I'll just summarize what I feel were my biggest takeaways. Basically, there was some good and some bad, and we're taking baby steps on crackling ice. As soon as she walked in the door and saw me, she broke down and started apologizing. For what they said, for what she said afterward, and for leaving. All of it. The poop talk about me has been going on for nearly 2 years. Started around the time COVID lockdowns were relaxing so we could see FWB again. She had told him she'd missed him during intimacy the first time they met back up. He told her yeah, because all she's had in lockdown is me, and it escalated from there. They don't do it regularly, just from time to time, and she was mortified I had heard it. She said she never means any of that stuff, but it turns him on and the intimacy is better as a result. Dude has his own major insecurities apparently, and she had taken it upon herself to make him feel more like a man, and she never thought I'd ever hear or be hurt by it. The way she phrased it was that when they poop talk like that, it pretty much tends to be around stuff that he doesn't feel he measures up about, and she always knows it's false and has never spoken a bad word about me outside that headspace. Her initial burst of anger when I barged into the bedroom, she says, came from a place of extreme embarrassment and shame. I should note that while we do get off on listening, we never watch each other. We've tried a few times, but there's something about the visual that rubbed us both the wrong way, so we stopped. So for her, when I walked in, it was kind of like a parent busting in on you masturbating to some effed up corn. It is also true that when I walked in, he did have her in a very vulnerable position performing a humiliating intimacy act on her, so I see how that could have made her erupt in shame. Upon reflection, it may also be possible that seeing her in that compromised position added to my own anger in that moment as well. She was also feeling embarrassed on behalf of the guy, that she wasn't able to provide a safe place for him, and blamed me in the moment for embarrassing them both. This also fueled her defensiveness afterwards and her refusal to back down or concede anything. I'd made her feel like a WH-re, apparently. She apologized unreservedly for not acknowledging my feelings on the night and for not apologizing straight away. She regrets the things she said during our big fight and that I was totally right to feel the way I did and that she was just feeling humiliated and cornered, but that she knows I must have felt even worse. I asked her if she loves him. Of course not, she says. They have great intimate chemistry and she cares about him a lot, but they would never be compatible in real life and not once has she ever contemplated a future with him. It somehow upset her that I would think that. However, she confessed that she has known for over a year that he has been in love with her since at least before the pandemic. He tells her frequently, but she never says it back. She said that it made their time together more intimate and enjoyable, and since she knew she could never reciprocate his feelings, it wasn't a threat. She's made it clear to him plenty of times that a future between them wasn't on the cards. This part has been really difficult for me to process. She said they would stop that kind of talk going forward. I said not good enough. I want him out. She started crying and said she feared I would want that, but hoped I wouldn't. She asked if there was any way they might be able to continue, I said she could hang out with him all she wanted but she'd be doing it as a single woman. She cried but she agreed to break things off. She asked if they can meet up one more time because they never got the chance to say bye. I agreed on the condition that they leave me out of it and that she make it clear to him that will be the last time they ever even speak. Any further contact of any kind after that will be the end of us. I should also note that in our subsequent fight that night, at one point I did say something like, well, why don't you just F off to his place then? In a rhetorical way that you sometimes do in a heated argument. And in a moment of pettiness she said fine I will and packed a bag and went. She spent the first night with him out of spite, but they did not have intimacy and she would not have stayed any further nights unless he went away for work so she had his place to herself. Out of pride she was holding out and waiting for me to make contact before coming back. Just as I was. We had to take around a half-hour break when I told her I had gone as far as making an appointment with an attorney for next week. She didn't handle that well at all and had a severe panic attack. She said she never imagined that would ever be on the cards, and that she would have come home days ago if she thought I was even remotely thinking about it. That she can't imagine life without me. Finally, I asked her how I'm supposed to believe the things she's telling me or if she's full of poop. She said she promises she's being truthful and she's never broken a promise to me before, which is true. So I'm inclined to mostly believe her explanations, but there are still a lot of things I need to work through, process, ask about, and convince myself of. We decided we would close the marriage for a couple of months to focus on our own relationship and then reassess. I've canceled my meeting with the lawyer and we're going to go to counseling. Any suggestions on how to find E&M-friendly therapists would be helpful. I never thought we'd ever be here so I have no idea where to start looking. She offered to close her side unilaterally and let me keep seeing my partners, but this is about both of us. I'm not interested in having her punish herself for the sake of it. I still have to figure out if 1, I really fully believe what she told me, and 2, if I'm satisfied to continue. I'll take our time while we're close to make up my mind. It'll be tough but I'm willing to at least try and work on it. I've been steeling myself for divorce all week so that's the mindset I've been in, and I acknowledge that I owe it at least to the relationship we had to give it a hard try. Part 3. Firstly, we found an E&M-friendly therapist with some really good references, so we've gone to see her 4 times so far, which she said was a pretty intense schedule and that usually she recommends weekly or bi-weekly appointments, but that given the crisis we are in we would benefit from more frequent sessions in the short term and saving our argument/fight/discussions for our sessions with her so things don't get out of hand. We're officially closed now. We both saw who we needed to see and it's just the two of us. The therapist said 2 months was nowhere near long enough so we've closed indefinitely for now, and we'll see down the line when we open back up. My wife's FWB didn't take their split well. He came to the house to talk to me and try and change my mind but I wouldn't open the door to him. Ended up calling the cops after he started getting aggressive. He's out of the picture now, and the even better news is that he was too upset to even consummate that last meeting of theirs. His last memory of intimacy with my wife is me busting in on him, and now he has to live with that. Our third therapy session was really brutal. She came clean about a bunch of stuff that really shocked me, maybe even more than the whole insult thing. She had been breaking ground rules pretty much left and right for the thrill of it, often in really specific and deliberate, and pretty hurtful, ways. My trust in her is pretty much non-existent right now, and regardless of therapy I've given myself until the end of the year to begin feeling some trust in her again. Otherwise I don't see much point going on. I'm struggling with bitterness due to the fact that trying to save my marriage means I'll likely lose other relationships with people special to me, and it could all be for no reason in the end. Right now it's just one step at a time. Not much more to do than fight through it, but I am a fighter. P.S. None of you warned me how goddamned expensive therapy is, but you best believe it's coming out of the joint account. Little edit, but I should explain a bit about why I'm willing to fight for it, and why I'd rather not see people denigrating her in these replies. Despite everything I've explained in these few posts, we're talking about a truly incredible woman. She's warm, she's loving, she's kind, she's so intelligent, she's fierce. She's always been the first to help whoever needs it, the last to leave when more still needs to be done. She takes care of her family, she's hilarious with a wicked sense of humor, she's adventurous, she loves life, she loves to laugh and she doesn't suffer fools. She's also incredibly gorgeous, I mean like actual magazine cover stunning. And if I can be a bit off color, she can F like Olympus thunder over the waves. She's been the love of my life, she's made some life-changing mistakes, but if there's any way to go back to what we had, I'm prepared to slog through pain to get there. Part 4. We tried our best but unfortunately, it has not worked out. I haven't been able to get past it. There is no trust there anymore. There's fondness, but I don't know if I can even call it love anymore. She's pretty devastated, which I don't take any pleasure in. At least I'm doing a pretty decent job of letting go of the anger. Therapy has helped a lot for that. Maybe if it was just our relationship impacted we might have been able to make it work, but it's had a ruinous effect on a number of other relationships as well, and an impact on my life beyond just my marriage. Among other things, she had sought out and slept with a couple of close friends and a work subordinate of mine. Those friendships, which I've had for decades, are now over, and that person at work has been let go. All of it is having knock-on effects on other parts of my personal and work life. It's not something I can get over. The separation and divorce will at least be amicable. We won't be battling it out in the courts. We've already agreed on a division of assets that we both agree is fair. Luckily neither of us has had to rely financially on the other while we've been together. I've decided that after the divorce is finalized, I'll have no more contact with her whatsoever. I need a clean break. One silver lining is that I've been able to meet back up with a couple of my partners from before and had a grand old time. I made the mistake of saying, genuinely and with no bad intention, that at least now she can meet back up with the other guy again. She didn't take that the way I meant it and thought I was having a dig at her and we had a big fight, but then it smoothed over. In any event, it's on to the next adventure now. May enjoy single life for a while. I've still got a good chunk of my youth left and fortunately, I still look like it. I'll take my wins whenever I can get them. I'm in mourning but also excited about what life has in store. One major thing is that she never wanted to be a parent, and I did before we got married. The prospect of fatherhood is open to me again and that's really life-affirming. Onward and upwards.